What is going on? So I know it's a little late and this one's going to be a little different. There's not like some breaking info that I'm going to drop on you. No, like breaking news. I've just been thinking about this case and wanted to go back over kind of all the details as they've kind of unfolded, because we're not anywhere near a closure. Like, this thing could probably, depending on what happens with the two main suspects, Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow, depending on how they play now that they're in custody, it will determine how this thing's going to play out. One of them may make a deal. One of them, they may both go to court and point the finger at someone else. There's a lot of moving parts and a huge multi-state, multi-agency investigation. And I know people think that because of different cases that have happened, Chris Watts case, Patrick Frazee case, the different cases that have gone through court, KK, Crystal Lee Kinney with the KK case, that this is going to play out one way or the other. But really, we don't know how it's going to play out at this moment, because we don't know what we don't know, and we don't know what law enforcement knows. We don't know what law enforcement doesn't know, and what they're going to find out over the next couple of weeks, months, as this investigation really starts opening up. The things that have been confirmed, and everybody has said it now. I said it early today. Others said it late last night. I think we said as soon as the mayor kind of slipped up and said they had found the kids, everybody kind of understood, even if it hadn't officially come out. Family has come out now, and it's pretty well understood that they have found the bodies of Tylee and JJ. And they found them on the property of Chad Daybell. But that's where we're at now. We have come a long ass way. So I'm going to skip through like some timelines that are already built. This first one is put out by the East Idaho News. Now, the East Idaho News, the guy from there, I don't even know his name. Somebody can say his name in chat or something, but he's been covering this case. He's flown all over the country covering this case, ended up in Hawaii at one point, and he got some really great side-by-side walking along video with Chad and Lori Daybell. And so the East Idaho News has done a fairly decent job of a timeline, and I'm just going to kind of skim through this stuff. So in March of 1990, and March 9th to be exact, Tammy Daybell married Chad Daybell. They were married in Utah at a Latter-day Saints temple. They started the Spring Creek Book Company in 2004. So they were married in 1990, and for 14 plus years, we don't have a ton of information about their marriage. There's not a timeline of things. But if we skip forward to 2006, this is when Chad and Lori, oh shit, I just skipped way too far ahead. In 2006, Charles and Lori Vallow marry in Las Vegas. So this is, and this is after Lori's already had another marriage. The other marriage, we don't have a ton of information about the other marriage, other than I don't even know where the dude's at. I don't know if the guy's alive. Or in 2001, Lori Vallow married Tylee's father. So Tylee's father, Lori married her third husband. She's been married 5 times, by the way. Lori Vallow's been married 5 times. Tylee's father, Joseph Anthony Ryan Jr. In 2001, Joseph adopted Lori's son, Colby, who she had in her previous marriage. Joseph and Lori eventually filed for divorce in 2004. Joseph died of a heart attack in 2018 and was cremated. One death surrounding her. That's in 2018 he died. In 2004, right after her first husband and her get a divorce, in 2006, 2 years after her this third husband, not the first husband, she had 2 other husbands. I didn't even want to go back that far. Who knows what happened to them? Charles and Lori Vallow marry in Las Vegas. So this is Charles Vallow, who would later be killed by Alex, her brother. But this Charles Vallow and Lori marry in Las Vegas after she divorced her third husband, Joseph Ryan Jr., the father of Tylee. Let's skip over here to another. 2014, Charles and Lori Vallow moved to Hawaii, the island of Kauai. Approximately a year after the couple moved to Hawaii with JJ and Tylee, it was reported that Lori became obsessed with books written by Chad Daybell. So somewhere in this Hawaii trip is when, and this is 2014, this is when Lori first hooks on whatever, throws a fish hook out there, obsessed with Chad Daybell's book. So he started his company in 2004 with his wife Tammy. 10 years later, Lori gets hooked onto these books. According to one of Lori's friends, who wants to remain anonymous, Lori was especially intrigued with Chad's fictional series called Standing in Holy Places, which centered on apocalyptic scenarios loosely based on Mormon theology. Lori's friend said those books she got really obsessed with. Oh, what the mother? See, there's some bunch of crazy. She got hooked on this Standing in Holy Places, which centered around apocalyptic scenarios loosely based on Mormon theology. Lori's friend said those books she got really obsessed with, and she started buying me those books too. She must have gotten close to him from his books. According, the family eventually moved to Arizona sometime between 2016 and 2017. So in 2014 in Hawaii is when Lori starts reading Chad Daybell's books and gets into this stuff. Somewhere in 2016 and 17, they moved to Arizona. According to sources, Lori met Chad Daybell in 2018 when he was teaching an evening class at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which she attended. I believe this would have been in Arizona, maybe. No, or this would have been, the two reportedly became close immediately, traveling together to a religious conference in St. George, Utah, where Chad gave talks on his book. The two reportedly continued to speak daily from the time of their first meeting. So this is in 2018, she meets him, but she got obsessed with him in 2014 reading his book. So for 4 years, this lady's been fanning on Chad Daybell. All of a sudden, she meets him at this little class he's teaching, and then boom, they probably hooked up that night. She probably hooked up with him that night, because then they started traveling together. So I think, I don't know what the Latter-day Saints preach. I don't know their their method or their theology on. I think the Mormons are the ones who had like 5 wives and stuff. So I think that's where that television show comes from. So Chad's probably just doing the work of the Lord, and she's probably just fallen in for this. In October 30th of 2018, this is where Chad sends an email to Lori, and it has to do with like this apocalyptic grading system on somebody's aura of light and dark. It's just total BS. But so according to this is from the East Idaho News, this lady gets a grading system that Chad is, I don't know. It's like these are current numbers on Earth at this time, each estimate level. These total represent the light spirits. The dark has equal numbers. And this is most LDS members are level 2. Most bishops and ward leaders are 3. Most stake presidents and general authorities are 4. Most apostles are 5. And there are a few level 6. The dark side can only match the light numbers, not exceed them. That is why there are a few 5s on Earth right now. It limits the dark power. 2s and 3s are fluid and can change sides during Earth's life. 4s and above have made covenants to their side. They rarely switch sides. So it's some weird grading system. But she goes through and she actually labels Chad goes through and sends a chart about everybody in Lori's family. So this is where we get to those zombie, like we hear the zombie language. He's using this grading system. And interesting enough, he labels Tylee like a 4.1 dark, like super dark. He labels Lori a 4.3 light. He labels different people in her family, her ex-husband, Joshua Vallow, who I think is JJ, is who, he labels him a 4.2 light. So Tylee, a dark, JJ, a light, whatever these BS labels are. But this is in 2018. So this is, he sends this to Lori. Then after that document comes out with the label, let me see what he labeled. I wonder what he labeled her husband. He labeled her husband, first husband, third husband. He labeled him like a 4.3. That was the third husband. Fourth husband, Charles. Oh, Charles was a 3 light, but they can swap back and forth. Because after this labeling system comes out in 2019, it would have been a court document suggests that things began to unravel for the family early in 2019 when Lori was still married to Charles Vallow. The couple were exchanged, whatever the word is, estranged, like estranged, bad, separated, and Vallow had filed for divorce, saying he feared she would kill him and that she had developed cult-like beliefs. Charles alleged that Lori claimed to be a God assigned to carry out the work of the 144,000 at Christ's second coming in July 2020. The family was living in Phoenix suburb in July when Lori's brother, Alex Cox, shot and killed Vallow. Cox asserted that the shooting was in self-defense after Vallow allegedly came at him with a baseball bat. Police investigated, but the case didn't go far before Cox died of a blood clot. They ruled that he died of a blood clot in his lungs in December of 2000. Oh, this was okay. So this dude, Charles, gets killed by Alex. Alex then dies because they didn't have to go. The reason they didn't go further with the case with Charles Vallow's case is because then Alex turns up dead in 2009, in the end of 2019. So this whole like dead. Husband, Lori Vallow's second husband dead. Lori Vallow's third husband dead. Now Alex Cox dies of a blood clot. And this was in 2019. In 2019, so then we go back over. I gotta look at this other one. In 2014, though, I want to go back just a second because I didn't talk about this. Charles and Lori in 2014, they adopt Joshua JJ Vallow. Charles' grandnephew, Joshua's biological father, is the son of Kay and Larry Woodcock. So these are the grandparents who would then be the ones that would end up calling in the welfare check that would get this thing moving. So JJ is Charles's grandnephew. Joshua's biological father is the son of Kay and Larry Woodcock. So Charles's nephew has a boy. Charles and Lori adopt this boy later in life, 2014. 2015, the Daybells, Chad and Tammy, moved to their family to Salem from Springville, Utah. So the Daybells were in Utah. That's where they were married. That's where they were living up until 2014. Chad and Tammy, Chad Daybell, Tammy Daybell, moved to the house, the very house where they're going to later find the children this week. They move there to Utah after he hears a voice saying they need to move to the area. So this is the classic God told me to move story. God told me to go to this specific set of ground, whatever. Let me go back here. Let's see. So that's May 2015. April 3rd, 2018, Lori's ex-husband. So the third husband, they weren't married. Lori Daybell, or the third husband of Lori Daybell, Joshua Ryan, the father of Tylee Ryan, dies of a heart attack. So this is April 3rd, 2018. This is her ex-husband, not Charles. This is Tylee's dad, her third husband. Fourth husband is Charles. Third husband is Joseph Ryan. This is Tylee's dad. He dies of a heart attack. Now, he was raided by Chad as well. It looks like in December 5th, 2018, Chad and Lori make a podcast appearance. Chad and Lori Daybell's first appear together on the Preparing a People's podcast, Time to a Warrior Up. Now, that podcast would be taken down and those people would disassociate themselves with the Daybells. If you have a copy of that podcast or if you've heard that podcast, dude, send me a link because I would love to hear what Chad and Lori talked about December 5th, 2018. February 2019 to March 2019. Listen, February 2019 to March 2019, Lori vanishes. Family says Lori disappears for 58 days, leaving the kids with family members. It remains unclear where she was. Well. Jeez Louise. This is right before her brother is going to kill her then husband. No, that was freaking late, wasn't it? Well, let me see. That was Lori's ex-husband dies in 2018. Yeah. We're getting there. This craziness. So she disappears for 58 days, according to family. Where she went, who knows? When she disappears in February 8th, 2019, Charles, her husband, Charles Vallow, files for a divorce. Charles files for a divorce and says Lori threatened to kill him and stole more than $35,000. He later changed his mind, wanting to make the marriage work. Bro, you should have just freaking tuck-tailed and ran. You should have charged her with that $35,000. You should have freaking took her to court. At this same time, Lori's niece would ask her husband for a divorce. Melina is now under investigation. Ask her husband, Brandon, for a divorce. Brandon believes this to be related to her new religious beliefs with Lori. So this is when the niece falls head over heels for Chad Daybell too. But then all of a sudden, July 11th, 2019. So this was back in February of 2019. Charles files for divorce. He says the wife's going to kill him. He says she's off her rocker. In July 11th, 2019, Charles Vallow is shot and killed. Charles is reportedly shot and killed by Alexander Cox, Lori's brother. This happened at her rental home in Chandler, Arizona. We've watched the body cam footage from this. It's so weird. Because Alex is chill. And then Lori tells like a couple of different stories. It was really kind of weird, but because I think Alex may have either did it or Lori did it and Alex covered for her. But either way, he showed up out of nowhere, like, and killed Charles. It's such a freaky, weird video. You almost have to go watch it for yourself. You can YouTube it. You can probably find it on Dad with a Phone. We watched the footage. It's just a weird scenario because Tylee and Lori Vallow show back up and they're chit-chatting with the cop. The whole scenario where she says she's going to kill Charles, there's a whole body cam footage from an interview about that as well. And at that point, you're just like, this woman she is not only manipulative, we're watching her on body camera footage. She manipulates the cops. And this is why they didn't really look into Charles's death beyond a self-defense, because of, I think, the way Lori was able to manipulate the police. And then when someone says, yeah, I killed him, he swung a baseball bat. You got a couple of witnesses that say, yeah, he had a bat. Even the daughter's like, well, I guess in hindsight, I should have never gone and got the bat. And so just a weird scenario. Alex tells police that he like left and went and got the gun, then he came back, and then he just shoots the dude. It's just such a weird scenario that went down with Charles Vallow's death, that all of a sudden it throws a shadow over all these people's death. Her third husband, her fourth husband. Who knows what happened to her second and first husband? On August 10th, 2019. So Charles gets killed in July. On August 10th, 2019, JJ's grandparents, biological grandparents, Larry and Kay Woodcock, said they received a 36-second FaceTime call marking the last time they spoke with him. So that was the last time they actually spoke to JJ, was August 10th. Now, you fast forward to the 31st, Lori leaves the Arizona home. The landlord of the home where Lori lived said she left with the kids on August 31st, 2019. It's presumed Lori and the kids move to Rexburg. So that's kind of just an assumption, but that's August 31st. September 3rd, 2019, JJ was rolled in Rexburg School. The principal at Kennedy Elementary says Lori Daybell enrolled JJ. So that was September 3rd. September 8th, this is where, so September 3rd, he's enrolled in school. September 8th, they take a trip. JJ, Lori, Tylee, and Alex, her brother, they take a trip to Yellowstone. The Rexburg Police Department says the last time anyone saw Joshua and Tylee together was at the park September 8, 2019 with their mother, Lori Daybell, and her brother, Alex. So this is when they're last seen together. And on September 23rd, so this is September 8th, almost 19 days and some change, JJ are last seen September 23rd. JJ is last seen at the new school, Kennedy Elementary in Rexburg, Idaho, on the 23rd. September 24th, Joshua unenrolled from school. It is very possible on the 23rd to 24th, something happened. The principal at Kennedy Elementary says Lori Daybell came to the school to disenroll Joshua. He recalls she said she would be homeschooling her son. That's the 28th. September 24th, September 24th, he's unenrolled from the school. And on October 1st, this is when Lori Daybell rents the storage unit. He's not, the boy hasn't been seen now since he was unenrolled at the school on the 23rd or the next day. Tylee hasn't been seen since September 8th. She says this, she gives this story of, I'm going to do the homeschool thing. So who knows what's really going on, but on October 1st, this is when they rent the storage unit. She rents a 10 by 10 storage unit in Rexburg. Surveillance video shows she and a man believed to be her brother Alex visit the unit several times over the month of October and November. Items are often placed in the unit, then later removed days later. So they were moving stuff, and whether they were moving just physical items. I've seen some of that real high-res video footage, and it didn't look like there were a couple of items that were questionable, but I think after looking at the high-res footage, it made it clear that there was no video footage of them what looked to be moving the kids. Brandon, the niece's husband. I know this is so freaking confusing, but the husband of Lori Vallow's niece, the one that she divorces. Brandon says someone shot at him. He said a shot with a bullet missing his head by inches. News reports indicate the shooter was driving a Jeep registered to Charles Vallow. So Vallow's been killed. Charles Vallow's been killed. I believe Lori just takes the Jeep, takes her brother's Jeep. Alex was probably driving her Jeep. Tylee was reportedly driving the Jeep around. That is on, what day is that? That's October 2nd. The same day Brandon is shot at. The same day he's shot at, Lori buys the wedding ring on Amazon. Lori Daybell purchases a wedding ring, later seen on her finger at the wedding ceremony weeks later with her new husband, Chad Daybell. So this is October 2nd. Boom. Her brother's car is seen. No, her ex-husband's car is seen. Somebody driving it, shooting it at Brandon. I believe this wedding ring would later be found out that it was actually bought with her. It was either bought with Alex's or bought with Charles's credit card. I'm thinking it was bought with Charles's credit card. So she buys that wedding ring on the 1st, or on the 2nd. Brandon shot at it on the 2nd. On October 9th, Tammy Daybell calls 911. Tammy Daybell, Chad Daybell's wife, living in the house where they've been searching for the last couple of days. Tammy Daybell, the wife of Chad Daybell, says she was shot at with a paintball gun at her home in Salem, Idaho. The masked assailant ran away before deputies arrived. Shot at with a paintball gun on the 9th. On the 10th, this is on the 10th. Remember, Tylee hasn't been seen. JJ hasn't been seen. On October 10th, Tylee's Venmo account is used. Last visible transaction from Tylee's Venmo account sent to her half-brother, Kobe Ryan. So she sent some money to one of her half-brothers. Her half-brother has been rated by Chad. Like, he put him on that number system too. She sends money to him. He says, "Are you okay?" She sends a heart, whatever that means. This is on October 10th. On October 19th, Tammy Daybell dies. So she gets shot at on the 1st. Or, yeah, was it the 1st? No. The 1st, they rent. The 2nd, Lori Vallow buys a wedding ring on the 2nd. The 9th, she is shot at. And on the 19th, so 10 days after she's shot at with a paintball gun, Tammy Daybell dies at her home in Salem. Officials initially thought she died of natural causes, but are now calling her death suspicious. Tammy was buried October 22nd at the Evergreen Cemetery in Springville, Utah. On October 25th, a friend told the Post she got a text from Tylee Ryan, but doubts she is the one who sent it. So October, the Tylee hasn't been found. She's missing. Nobody knows what's going on. They haven't officially reported her missing. They haven't officially reported the kids missing, but this is all this time. Nobody has seen the kids. Nobody's, whatever. In November of 2019, that guy Brandon, his divorce with that chick who is Lori's niece, Brandon and Malia, they finalized their divorce. That's November 9th, 2019. November 2019. Okay, a witness says they told untrue stories on sometime in November 2019. Police say Chad and Lori Daybell told witnesses Tylee died years ago. Chad also reportedly said Lori had no minor children. Now, these witnesses could be a couple of witnesses. They could be witnesses for a house they were renting, because I know the house they rented in Florida or in Hawaii, the house that they ended up, or the condo they were renting, they had told the condo people they didn't have kids. But this is in November, so they're not married yet. I don't think. No, they're not married because they're about to get married. Yeah. So this was in November, early November. They tell some witnesses that Tylee's dead and has been dead for years. They tell witnesses that Chad and Lori have no children. So at this point, this is November-ish, early November. They haven't been seen since September. They haven't been talked to since August. They're telling people they don't have kids. They're telling people one kid has died. And then November 5th, Chad and Lori get married. Just days after. Days. The dirt on Tammy's grave ain't even settled yet. Like, it ain't even compressed. And Chad marries Lori in Hawaii. Golly. On November 14th, police in Utah arrest Melina for allegedly trespassing on Brandon's parents' property. So she gets into some trouble, probably trying to steal some shit, trying to get something back. I don't know. Maybe they were trying to kill somebody. Who knows at this point? On November 26th, Rexburg welfare check for JJ. So now this is when they show up. Rexburg police attempt to conduct a welfare check of JJ at the townhome on 565 Pioneer Road. This marks the last time police speak with Daybells in person. Family who had not spoken with JJ asked for the welfare check. So that would be the grandparents. They hadn't spoken with JJ since August. They hadn't seen, nobody had seen the hide nor hair of anybody, the kids, but nobody knew this because nobody was really looking for them. The niece is off doing her own craziness. The oldest daughter's missing. The youngest son is missing. And all these other deaths happen. Golly. Nothing is found. They don't do anything for the welfare check because they get a story that, hey, the story is they're in Arizona. They're with grandma. They're with so-and-so and so-and-so, right? They just make up a story on the welfare check day, and the police, they have to follow up on that, right? They have to call Arizona. They have to call the people that they say the kids are with. And they can't just, there's nothing they could do. And so the police, again, Chad Daybell, respected, white boy, probably well-spoken. Lori Vallow, little typical blonde mom, talks to police, just, oh, yeah, everything's fine. They're in Utah. They're chilling, whatever. We'll get a hold of them for you. Yeah, come back tomorrow or whatever. So they do this welfare check on the 26th. The next day, they have a search warrant now. And they have a search warrant for the townhome, and the authorities in Arizona, they requested that the search warrant be take place because they went and checked to see if the kids were at this other place. No, they're not. No kids are involved. The niece don't have the kids. Nobody's got the kids. They issue a search warrant on November 27th, 2019. Authorities in Arizona request Rexburg police to conduct a search warrant at the townhome in connection to their investigation. Daybell's abruptly left by this point. So they leave. The niece at this point, I believe, has moved across the way from them, or somebody is over there. Somebody related is in the same area. It's not on my timeline. I could be speaking out of turn here, but like they questioned the people and were like, "Oh yeah, they were moving. It was a planned move or whatever." All of a sudden, November 29th, this is going down on November 27th. So 27th, search warrants run. They're gone. November 29th, Alex, the brother, marries Zuma something in Clark County, Nevada. I can't even say her name. Zulma Pastine in Clark County, Nevada. So they go to Nevada, they go to whatever, Vegas, and get married. A little elope deal. The niece, Brandon's wife, she remarries on the 30th too. So the 29th, Alex gets married. On the 30th, Melina remarries. She remarries a Rexburg resident, Ian Pasłowski in Clark County. So they're in Vegas with only who I can assume be Alex and this Zulmama, whoever she is. I don't even know who that is. I think I did see something a little. She was probably just a hired hit. She's probably a hired hit woman from the LDS. But this, by any means, a stretch of the imagination, Melina and her uncle, would it be her uncle? Yeah, maybe. Or her daughter, or his daughter. It's somebody. Yeah. The uncle and Melina are in Vegas getting married, which is crazy. That's on the 20th. I bet you the Daybells were there because November 30th, they get married there. And then on December 1st, a few days later, Chad and Lori Daybell catch an American Airlines flight to Hawaii. I don't know where the Daybells went from the 27th, which means they disappeared on the 26th. Like, I don't know where I bet they went to Vegas with Alex, with Melina, and with that other. I bet there's video of them somehow in Vegas because Alex gets married, Melina gets married, whatever her name is, Melina, and then the Daybells ditch the main states on December 1st. So they were probably at the weddings. Maybe I'm wrong, but they disappeared. And if you're going to hide, Vegas is a good place to hide. On December 11th, so 10 days and some change, 12 days, 13 days after the Daybells hightail it out to Hawaii, on December 11th, investigators exhume Chad Daybell's wife because the Daybells fly to Hawaii. When did they get married? I'm just trying to see here. Yeah. All right. So they got married on the 5th, though, December 5th, I believe. Yeah, so 5 days. They go there. They get married. As soon as they're married, the cops are like, wait a minute. He just married a woman? Wait. His wife dies 2 weeks ago, and he just married a woman? They would obviously find out that when they got the Amazon records and all that craziness, that this wedding, she bought the wedding ring a minute. Somebody killed Tammy. And the cops kind of just flushed it. Again, this is a lot of, I mean, listen, I don't want to blame the police officers, but there was a lot of little shoddy police work going on. If these people were, anytime you bury a body and then you come back and later exhume it, it's because you didn't do the job the first time. Sucks, but who knows? I don't know that it would have changed anything with the children. The only thing that would have changed something with the children probably would have been, maybe it would have been Charles getting that divorce the first time, like not trying to fix it. Because I think the kids became liabilities after they started killing folks. Obviously, somebody's there. You would hate to think that everybody we've talked about dying, from her third husband to now you would hate to think that this has really been a serial killer thing from Lori's side. But then when you get Tammy involved, and all of a sudden you drag Chad in, he's been in the picture since 2000. He's the one who wrote out the hit list, right? He wrote out the zombie list. He wrote out the grades on them according to his religion. But the cops, I feel like, could have done something to maybe, I don't know. But anyway, December 11th, they go to exhume Tammy's body. On December 12th, so Tammy is exhumed on the 11th, and on December 12th, Lori Daybell's brother dies. Alex Cox mysteriously dies in Gilbert, Arizona. The cause of death is unknown, and investigators remain tight-lipped. What I can tell you is I've listened to the 911 call with that lady who he married her son. Again, strange, weird. He like dies foaming at the mouth or can't breathe. And like the guy calls 911. He's trying to explain, but then he's telling Alex to breathe. And it's a weird 911 call if you want to listen to it, but it basically shows, Alex dies. And I don't know if they got some special poison or some potions or what they're doing, but this is like a lot of people dying. Now we know Alex at least admits to killing Lori's fourth husband. All of a sudden, Tammy's body's exhumed and he dies the next day. Finally, December 20th, 2019, the search is announced. Rexburg Police Department publicly announces the search for the missing kids, JJ and Tylee. Now, during this time, East Idaho News is on the prowl, looking for Lori, looking for Chad. December 21st, 2019. The parents named persons of interest. Rexburg police called Chad and Lori Daybell persons of interest in the kids' disappearance. Chad and Lori's photos are released. This is the fat Chad driver's license photos. On the 23rd, an attorney releases a statement. Attorney Sean Bartholick in Ridgeby, Ridgeby, Andres and Ridgeby issued the following statement on the Daybell's behalf. Chad Daybell was a loving husband and has the support of his children in this matter. Lori Daybell is a devoted mother and resents assertions to the contrary. We look forward to addressing the allegations once they have moved beyond the speculation and rumor. And so they have their attorney release a little statement, but that's all we really get. On December 27th, police are no closer to finding the missing kids. Assistant Rexburg Police Chief Gary Hagan Says officers are no closer to finding the kids. This is December 27th. December 30th, police say Lori knows something. Rexburg police issue statements that Lori knows where the kids are or what happened to them as they plead for their parents to talk. So this is when her son, her older son, starts, pleading and wanting to know where these kids are. January 3rd, this would be the first time that they searched Chad Daybell's house. Search warrant at Daybell's home in Salem. The Fremont County Sheriff's Office said law enforcement removed 43 items from Chad Daybell's Salem home during the multi-agency raid. So this is back in January. Now we're into 2020. This is the first time they execute a search warrant on Chad Daybell's home, where we know this week they would then recover this. So cops are at the house. They're doing a search warrant. They're checking outside, inside, and they recover 43 items. Let's see. January 7th, family announces a $20,000 reward. That is Kay and Larry Woodcock announced that reward. So this is at a news conference. They come up with some cash to put a reward out for any information around JJ. On January 10th, 2020, the brother of Chad Daybell speaks. The brother of Chad Daybell, Matt Daybell, publicly speak out for the first time. He calls for his brother to cooperate with investigators. So he's asking his brother to cooperate, which then probably means investigators have informed him that, hey, your brother's not even cooperating with us. And again, brother doesn't have, Chad Daybell didn't have custody or legal guardianship or anything like that of JJ or Tylee. He's just the husband. On January 13th, detail of Charles Vallow's death revealed. Copies of the body camera footage and police reports regarding the July 2019 shooting. This is when that body camera footage comes out. We watch the body camera footage. We go over it. I talked about it already. It's just this weird body camera footage around Charles's death. So on January 25th, 2020, Lori Daybell served court orders. So authorities in Madison County have filed a child protective order on behalf of the 17-year-old Tylee Ryan and 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow. The order requires Lori physically to produce Tylee and Joshua to the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare in Rexburg or to the Rexburg Police within 5 days of being served with this order. So they're served with these papers. Again, famous, the video that's there in Hawaii. They are served with papers to produce the kids. Where are the kids? Where are the kids? It's the question everybody was screaming. All you got to do is tell us where the kids are. January 26th, January 26th is when that dude from the East Idaho News corners them. They didn't have much to say. Afternoon in Hawaii, after they were served the two search warrants, the Kauai police stopped the couple at a resort, seized their rental car, and served a search warrant at their rental property in a gated community. So they then search their home condo in Florida. This is on January 26, 2020. This is when the East Idaho News dude tracks him down in Hawaii. It's freaking dad with a phone. There's dudes, everybody's running around. On January 29th, the grandparents file for guardianship. So now they're filing for guardianship of JJ in Madison County. This comes as the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare is conducting their own investigation into Lori Daybell and the kids' health and safety. So it goes from Arizona now to the Idaho department now. And the grandparents are now filing for guardianship, because if they were issued guardianship, then they can start really pressing people because they're the legal guardians of JJ. So they file for guardianship. I don't know what happened in that one. Lori Daybell misses her court date deadline. Lori Vallow misses the 5 p.m. deadline given in the court order. This is on January 30th, 2020. To produce JJ and Tylee, the police, or the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare. The Woodcocks also arrived in town to speak with investigators. So now it's moving in the direction of they're about to make the arrest of Lori. February 3rd, the news visits the storage unit that Lori Vallow Daybell rented out. Items belonging to her children were left abandoned after staff says they didn't receive payment in January. So the news went out there. There were items. They got a picture of the items. It looks like there's some kids' items that were left in the storage unit that she rented. They didn't receive payment in January, so they forfeited it. Probably went to a storage wars. Oh, now see, on February 12th, the public learns Charles Vallow had a $1 million in life insurance. Kay Woodcock tells the news that in February 2019, her brother Charles Vallow removed his wife Lori Daybell from the $1 million life insurance policy. Woodcock was the sole beneficiary. So the Woodcocks also appeared in court for a custody hearing on February 12th in Madison County. That's something I didn't know. So the Woodcocks received the $1 million life insurance policy of Charles. Lori was taken off that. I think I did know that. February 20th, 2020. Kids are last seen in August. Last known picture of them together is in September in Yellowstone. Lori Daybell is arrested February 20th. Police in Kauai arrested Lori Daybell on a $5 million bond out of Madison County, Idaho. The list of charges include 2 felony counts of desertion and non-support of dependent children. February 26th, she waives her right to extradition just after 6 days behind bars and 2 denials at the reduction of bail. Lori Vallow Daybell appears in court and waives her extradition hearing. So at this point, she's been denied reduction in bail out of Hawaii. She waives her extradition right, which means she's not going to fight extradition back to Idaho. So they ship her back to Idaho. She actually appeared in court on March 4th, the final Hawaii court appearance. Lori Vallow makes one last court appearance in Hawaii as detail of the extradition is finalized. She invokes her Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, especially on the flight to Idaho. So she didn't say anything. March 4th and March 5th, the extradition to Rexburg happens. Lori Vallow took multiple flights and arrived at the Madison County Jail to face the charges against her. That's over the 4th and 5th. On March 6th, she makes her first appearance in Idaho court, where a judge reduces her bail to $1 million. Her husband Chad and family members of the missing children also attend. So Chad is in the courtroom during this. This is her famous Kool-Aid lipstick she had on, her orange jumpsuit, smiling at the camera, getting a little upset. They reduced the bail to $1 million. Everybody thought that somehow she was getting out on $1 million bond. Unfortunately, the bail bondsmen's in Idaho, they run a tight ship, and the only way you're getting out is if you come up with $1 million collateral. You got to have something If they're about to put their neck out on the line, you got to have something that's worth $1 million, a piece of property, a bond, some sort of something. They didn't have that. Chad doesn't get her out of jail. March 13th, a motion by the defense team, Judge Farron Edens removes himself from the case, and Judge Michelle Millard takes over. So there's a judge flip because of a motion from the defense. It's really a tactic. It's a defense tactic to delay things. They were trying to get someone else in there. Couple of different things. Attorney General takes over investigation of the Tammy Daybell's death. Now, this is Tammy Daybell, Chad's wife. Remember, she died just a few days, and then boom, Chad and Lori are married. So they're reinvestigating this. The Idaho Attorney General's office takes over the case involving the death of Tammy Daybell. Chad and Lori Vallow Daybell are being investigated for conspiracy, attempted murder, and or murder. So at this point, investigators are looking at both Tammy and Lori, are looking at Lori and Chad for Tammy's death. This is April. This is April 9th, 2020. Another bail hearing. She tries to get another bail hearing. This is the long one where the attorney argues over the jail recordings. May 1st, 2020. On May 1st, Lori Vallow Daybell walked into the Rexburg courtroom to ask again for a reduction in bail. Her attorney, Mark Means, argued that the jail recording a conversation between the two violated her constitutional rights. Judge Michelle denied the request, keeping the bail at $1 million. Now, on top of this, in the middle of May, we are now in full bore COVID. So now COVID has taken over the national news. We're hearing very little about what's going on, but kind of COVID is running its little time, and they try to use that, saying, "Hey, I can't meet with her. I'm not able to have conversations that aren't being recorded," and different things. So this is all going on May 1st, 2020. May 8th. Alex's autopsy comes back clean. In other words, you got to look at this, though. They say Cox, the brother of Lori Vallow, died of natural causes, more specifically blood clots in the lungs. I don't know if there's poisons out there that cause that. I guarantee you something shady. Now, listen, I'll give you one natural cause. So if we're going to take a natural cause death and we're going to attach it to this case, I'll give you Alex, but I ain't giving you Charles. I ain't giving you Tammy. I'm not giving you John Ryan or the third husband. So we still got, even if Alex died of natural causes, maybe he died because he was involved in some craziness and he couldn't stand it, or maybe he was poisoned by this one crazy lady that he married all of a sudden. I don't know. But if we're going to give him one clean death, we'll give him Alex's. I don't want to, though. June 9th, police find human remains. That brings us, so Alex's autopsy comes back, and then it's quiet, right? From May 8th. So almost a month and a day go by and no real developments. She's facing some court dates. Tammy, they're still investigating. Chad's living his whatever life. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, boom. Police show up at Chad Daybell's house yesterday. They, within a few minutes, I'll give them an hour or two, within a couple of hours, they have turned up what I believe they knew immediately to be the remains of the children. They arrest Chad Daybell on evidence destruction, concealment charges. this is just starting, right? And we just got here. We just got to today. The last whatever hour, I just recapped you to today, and we don't even know where we go from now, because obviously they're going to do autopsies and investigation into how the children were killed. And then who knows what's going to happen between Chad and Lori. They're going to go back and forth at each other, or they're going to I already think Lori's talking, but a lot of people believe maybe it was the niece that is talking. I tend to believe that if with the accuracy of what happened, unless Chad did something stupid, right? Just real stupid. Like he didn't have I just don't see where he would have had the children or been able to move the children, or I don't think Chad just buried the children there in the last month. I think that happened right after, in September sometime, maybe even, I guess they were seen together at Yellowstone, but after that Yellowstone date, who knows? I think right around there, JJ was seen at the school on September 23rd, and then he's pulled out on the 24th. It's very possible right in that September of 2018. Is that right? No, 2019. I don't even know. It's so freaking back and forth. Let me see here. The kids are seen like September 2019 or 2018. Golly. No, it's 2019. It's just so much craziness. Officially, they go missing. Yeah, they went missing on the 20th. That's when the search started on December 20th. But it actually goes, the kids weren't seen. Yeah, September. Jeez. Yeah, they weren't. So he's pulled out on the 23rd of 19. JJ last seen on September 23rd, 2019, and then is pulled out of school. They went on honeymoons. They got married. Tammy Daybell, is she at the house when they buried the kids there? Did they have the kids somewhere else and then move them there later? It's just so crazy. That's how crazy this case is going to be. It's going to get crazier as information continues to come out. There's so many twists and turns and portals that there's no telling what's going to happen if this thing actually goes to trial. If it goes to trial, there's some pieces that law enforcement obviously are going to have to put together. And, we're saying all this and we don't even know what we don't know. Like we don't know what we don't know in this case. And law enforcement, I think, is still putting things together. I think they were given somebody handed them a break in this case. They obviously didn't know where the kids were at up until this point of time, just yesterday or the day before. And there's only a few people that benefit knowing where the kids are at and not saying anything. The niece is in some trouble. Lori is in some trouble. And so these are the two people that would have benefit from knowing pinpoint accuracy where these kids are and being able to use it maybe for a deal, maybe to use it to better their circumstance that they're both in trouble with. And so I don't think Tammy, I think I gotta believe that the little Melina girl, the little niece, would have broke under pressure if she got into some trouble that she needed. But I don't know that she would have had the information. I still believe my source that told me that the information for where the children were at came from Lori. And there's other rumors flying around. Neighbors saw this. The neighbors remember, Chad doing something out there. So we will see. All I know is it can't get any crazier. Like, you can't make something up that probably is crazier than what is going to end up being the truth in this case, because this one is filled with twists and turns. Uh, and it's a diabolical scheme that goes back months, years. Who knows? Who really knows how far this case goes back? Hey, thanks for watching Dad with the Phone tonight. If you're just joining in, we kind of just recap the timeline a little bit. I'm probably not perfect. I probably missed some stuff. Y'all were probably screaming at me in chat and telling me I'm missing something, but nevertheless, thanks for watching Dad with the Phone. I'm gonna dig more into this case. I'm gonna look more into it. I'm interested about a few certain things, and I'm gonna go find out more about that. So we won't be back tonight, but we out. We might not be back tomorrow. We may vanish like the wind.